Lumi, it's a very unique brawler. Very unique. Both her basic attack and her supers are completely different from anything I've ever seen. So today I'm here to tell you, is she that strong? Because there is a lot of things to talk about. Because her kit, it's very complex, honestly. So hope you enjoyed today's video, and let's start with her basic attack. Her basic attack, it is really good, honestly. I will say that it's the best thing about her kit, and it's very good because it does nearly everything. It has range, precisely 8.67 tiles of range, which is really good. It's a quite long range, honestly, especially considering that the projectile can just stay there, which I'll talk about that in a second. It deals a decent amount of damage as well, 1200 damage to throw, because it pierces enemies and there you can throw 2 of them. That is a reasonable amount of damage for how much range she has. And then you have the whole part of the attack coming back, which is insane. If you throw both of the thingies at the enemy and immediately call them back, you will deal 6000 damage. That's a lot. Essentially, any enemy that is trying to rush you in a straight line, if you throw them both the attacks and immediately call them back, if they have less than 6000 HP, they're dead. There is nothing they'll be able to do. It's a very strong thing, even more if you have the damage gear, so really good basic attack. And then we also have the super, which it's again a lot of damage. The super can deal easily 2800 damage. That's a lot of damage for a super that it's nearly impossible to miss. Not to mention that you also have the root effect, which honestly, it's no big deal. It feels more like an overkill most of the times because like I have the slow from the second star power, which it's by far the superior star power for now. And then the root of the super, it's just a real extra. Like sometimes it just slows the enemies down, but I have seen a couple of weird interactions with the super, like very messed up stuff. Like sometimes it feels like you deal the damage but you don't root the enemy, and other times they're rooted but they can still walk. Like I have seen that a couple of times, and it's maybe not entirely polished the super yet, because it seems like most of the times those bugs hurt you rather than help you. The only scenario where it helped was that I think that the explosion and the root has a duration, because I have seen once or twice enemies not being damaged by my super but still getting root. So I'm not really sure what is happening with her super, but that's what usually happens with new mechanics. And then we have her gadgets. Her first gadget, it's simply useless. It just does not deal enough damage. It's just a tiny area control that just generally doesn't do much. And then we have the other gadget, which is 2 tiny loose supers. It's really good, and if this gadget didn't deal damage, I could see the issue with picking the gadget, but because both gadgets do the same, the only difference is that one deals triple the damage, which sounds good in theory, but in reality it's horrible, and the other one has a whole new gimmick that it's the super of another brawler. Like, here we are again with gadgets just being a super of another brawler. And the same thing goes for the star powers. The first star power, which is the burning star power, it's honestly pretty useless because it just does not deal that much damage, even though the area control it's fairly decent. Like, your super is already a straight up kill confirmer. If the enemy doesn't die to your super, it will die because he'll get rooted on the floor, so it's very straightforward, and the burning damage just feels kinda unnecessary, honestly. And then we have the second star power, which in my eyes, it's so strong. And actually, the second star power has one hidden gimmick that I am yet to see if that is confirmed, but when I search for the stats of the star powers and Lumi stats on Brawl Fandom, where you can check everything that I'm saying, it also said that for some reason this star power actually slowed down the retrieving speed of the thingies. So that's a very weird extra that it's not said on the star power description, which I honestly still need to do the comparison side by side. I will be showing it on the screen. Maybe it's impactful, maybe it's not, but if it's actually true, I generally cannot see the difference, and I don't think that is a large enough nerf to make me consider using the other star power. And Lumi is already strong, and we also need to remember that she doesn't have a hypercharge or a mythic gear at all, so I am scared to see what Supercell will do when she gets a hypercharge, but for now I will say Lumi is usable pretty much anywhere except for Heist. Her super has control, she deals really good damage. Her only real weakness, it is really aggressive assassins, which we don't really have right now except for Mortis. Unless you're playing Edgar, but you're just killing yourself if you do that. So Lumi doesn't really have that many counters, and she has control, she has damage, and her super, it's very cyclable, and honestly, it's very strong. Now that I already explained Lumi's strengths and weaknesses, I want to talk about some changes that I want to see to her. I, a while ago, made a community post on my channel asking your opinion on if she needed buff, reworks, nerfs, or nothing, and you either picked nothing or nerfs. Now, me personally, I think that she needs a little bit of a nerf, mainly to those ice abilities, because it's just too easy to understand which gadget and which star power are better if you play the game even a little bit. So, the changes that I would do would be mainly in terms of rebalancing gadgets and star powers. So, with this being said, let's start with the buffs. Both her first gadget and first star power, the ones that leave the fire trails, would now, instead of just being pure damage on an area, they would now lit the enemies on fire for 4 seconds. So essentially, if an enemy even walks once to your super explosion, if you were using the first star power, or to the gadget burning area, they would receive in the gadget around what, if my math is mathing, 1440 damage, and obviously the star power would depend because both the fire damage also would scale with the explosion, so the fire damage and the burning damage would change depending on the explosion. But regardless, this would be a really good buff, because that area control of the flames would now be really powerful. Therefore, you would just not be able to go through that area, which is kind of what happens with the second gadget. Sometimes just walking towards that mini Lu super, it's a death sentence. And with that being said, the second gadget cooldown would be increased from 18 seconds to 21 seconds. And one detail that I noticed is that for some reason the cooldown starts instantly. Wouldn't it make more sense for the cooldown to start after the mini Lu super is done? I don't know, just a small thing that occurred to me, because that's kinda how it works with most gadgets, so I am really surprised about this one. So this extra 3 seconds of cooldown would kinda compensate that. And finally, we have a tiny nerf to her second star power, which is honestly really good. It's essentially if you hit the enemy once with the retrieving thingies. I swear I know the name, I'm just not remembering it. If you hit them even once, like, they're dead, because you'll just hit every other attack after that one, and the duration it's just so long that you will hit them every single other retrieving thingy after that one. So it's just a death sentence, that's her power in most 1v1s against characters that you don't one-shot directly. So I'm really hoping to see at least the star power nerf, the duration being reduced from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds. The star power is really good, and I think that's one of the reasons why Lumi itself is just so good, honestly. And there you have it, all of the changes that I want to see to Lumi and why Lumi is a very strong brawler. What are your thoughts on Lumi? Write your opinion in the comments down below, trust me, I will read them. And I'll see ya on the next video.